Okay, so let's take a look at the assignment. This is the last part of our notes. You guys should have this original figure A, B, and C on your paper. They told you that A is 2 and 1, B is 2 and 5, and C is 6 and 1. So we're doing two things. One, we're going to actually rotate. It says plot the original point as indicated, connect the points to make the right triangle, then rotate the original triangle counterclockwise. So the first thing I want you guys to do is to go ahead and highlight or underline the word counterclockwise, because these are the rules for counterclockwise. And then we're going to actually apply the rules and graph the additional three figures. So the first one, we're doing 90 degrees counterclockwise. Here's the rule over here on the left hand side, which you guys should have copied down in your notes. 90 degrees counterclockwise is telling us, it's saying negative y and x. It's saying change y and then switch x and y. Okay. So if I change y, looking at my new point, so we're trying to do a prime. If I change y, my y will be negative 1 because it's already positive, and I'm switching positions. So my new point will be negative 1 and 2. Okay. And then the same thing for b prime. This would be negative 5 and 2. And then C prime, this would be negative 1 and 6. So those are your new points. And then you're going to go ahead and graph that. Now, I know if I'm looking at negative X and positive Y's, we need to also write with quadrant. In this case, this one will be in quadrant 2. Okay. Now, we're looking at 180 degrees. So again, go ahead and write down the new points. A prime is negative 1 and 2. B prime is negative 5 and 2. C prime is negative 1 and 6. We're going to do 180. So when we do each transformation, we're going from the original, we're going from the previous transformation. So 180 degrees says just change the signs for x and y. Okay. So my A double prime will be negative. I'm sorry, it was already positive. So it'll be 1 and 2, 1 and negative 2. Let me rewrite this. So if it's negative 1, it's going to switch to positive, and it's positive, it's going to make it negative. So 1 and negative 2. And then we have positive 5 and negative 2. And then we have 1 and negative 6. Okay. And again, this would be A double prime, B double prime, C double prime at the little tick marks. Since my X's are positive and my Y's are negative, that means that my 180 will be in quadrant 4. Okay. So the first picture was in quadrant 1. The second picture was in quadrant 2. Third picture is in quadrant 4. All right, we're looking at 270. 270 says y to negative x, which means that you're going to change x and switch positions with x and y. So my x is positive. I'm going to make it negative, and then I'm going to switch them. So in this one, I'm going to get negative 2 and negative 1. And this would be A triple prime. Okay. B triple prime will be again, we're changing x and switching positions. It'll be negative 2 and negative 5. And then finally, C will be negative 6 and negative 1. Okay. Since all my coordinates, my x and my y's are negative, both negative, I'm going to actually be in quadrant 3 this time. 1, 2, 3. And then finally, 360 degrees, guys. This just tells you that we're looking at the original figure. Okay, this will put you back to what you started with. And so this will put me back in quadrant 1. And so my original points will be the new points. So this will be 2, 1. And again, this will be A triple prime. So you put 4 tick marks. B will be 2, 5. And again, this will be quadruple prime. And then C, quadruple prime, will be 6 and 1. All right. So once you fill in this chart, guys, go ahead and graph your new figure. So again, once you fill in this chart, go ahead and graph your new figures. You will not have to graph the 360 because 360 will put you back where you started. All right. And that is the end of the classwork. I mean the notes. I'm sorry. The classwork, and I just want to make sure I emphasize this. One suggestion: the very first thing I advise that you guys do is underline what it's asking you to do. So if it say clockwise, underline clockwise. If it says counterclockwise, underline counterclockwise. All right, and then you're going to use the rules, which is wrote up on the board in class. But the first thing I would do to complete these problems is write what the original coordinate is. So I'll go ahead and do the first one. So my A is going to be -4 and -2. It's asking me to do 90 degrees clockwise. 90 degrees clockwise says change X and then switch positions. Okay, so this is the rule for 90 degrees clockwise, which means that my A prime is going to be, again, I'm changing X and then switch positions. So it'll be -2 and +4. All right. So -2 and +4. I need to read clockwise. Change X and then switch. Yeah. -2, +4 goes up here. And then the triangle just flips upward. 2 spaces over. 1, 2, 3 down. So 2 spaces over. All right. So this is your new figure. And so here in the little line, you would just write what the A would be. In this case, it'd be -2 and 4. So again, to complete this class, right, the first thing I would do is write what your original points are, underline what direction they're telling you to go, and then based off your direction, apply the rules for rotations. Now let's look at the next slide. Guys, they're asking you to describe the rules. Again, I'll go ahead and do number 1 on this one. Pick any point on this figure. I'll go ahead and just do N. So N, my original N is here. We're at -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, -5, +4. Okay. Now, from N to N prime, that's what we need to figure out because we're going to write the rule, and all of these will be rotations. N prime is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, +4, and 5, +4 and 5. Okay. So the question is, what rule do we use? The first thing I need to figure out is that we go clockwise or counterclockwise. So if N is here and my other N prime is here, that means that this figure rotated to the right. Okay. If I'm going to the right, that means I have to go clockwise. All right. And so it looks like I changed my X and then I switched positions. So looking at my clockwise rules, where it says change X and switch positions, this rule will be 90 degrees. Okay. And again, what I would do first is pick a point for each of these and figure out the direction it went. So the second one went clockwise again. This third example went counterclockwise. Okay. And then the fourth example went clockwise. So once you figure out the direction it went counterclockwise or clockwise, pick a point like I did here off the figure, and then figure out what happened from, U to U prime, or from S to S prime, from T to T prime, from H to H prime. And that should help you figure that out. And then the last 4, so you guys only have 8 problems. They give you a point. Okay. I would write the point out. And then once you write out what the coordinate is, then do the rotation rules. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any additional questions, please let me know. Ask me during class time, send me a message in Verge, but that is the classwork for today.